They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my taxes. Yes, you said. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood, Slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in his dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was design 5 for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm on West for life, nigga, this a blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, send a curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. Disloyalties and death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind fail. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times, then it's death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fucking raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's all I don't. Either fold or salute, my nigga. Salute, my nigga. Like, how you stay focused? I told him I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. And I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, say she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
Pando, kill the beat.
I don't know who, somebody need to hear this. Y'all don't speak Hebrew, that's Yiddish. How the fuck you try to label us anti-Semitic? We the Israelites, blacks, native Hispanics. The Germans get locked up for the Holocaust. Meanwhile, black people still up in the Holocaust. 100 million of us died in the transatlantic. 6 million died, y'all want the world to never forget it. You can never be a Jew, you a Ashkenaz. This ain't a star dum-dum, a gun that would die. Yeah, Yeezy told the truth and got ostracized. Not one person in the Bible had on a yarmulke. We was slaves in America like we was in Egypt. Y'all don't even fit the curses in the Torah neither. Y'all was blind to the truth. I had to make it clear how Jerusalem, your land, your people came from Europe. That was 1947. Your menorah got 9 sticks. It's really only 7. Yeah, it's us against the world. Armageddon. This what happened when you inherit lies from your ancestors. Y'all the synagogue of Satan with them black hats. Your whole nation sitting ducks, Aflacs. Bunch of thieves and culture vultures ain't nothing kosher. To tell the truth, you vagabonds don't have a culture. Macedonia, Alexander and Philip, you a convert, so tell me, how the fuck is you Israel? That don't make you the people just cause you live there. Why my people can't hate your people like y'all hate Hitler? All the prophets was black and was called nigga. Y'all don't even fit the description that's in the scriptures. Abraham, all the way down to Jacob, we the real Jews. Y'all don't study Christ, y'all follow the Talmud. Keep it real, yeah, let's keep it real. Cold hard truth, it give you chills. Say y'all Jewish cause y'all ain't really them. About to do them like Hammond, it's the Feast of Purim. You BK undefeated, this an easy win. We was born fighting, y'all the evil twin. Jacob took hold of his heel, then out came his little red bastard, they kosher deals. It's only 12 tribes, y'all trying to make it 13. Esau despised his birthright, the Lord cursed him. He ain't the devil, who is? I'm still searching. Ask your rabbi, why he get them babies herpes? I don't know what's worse, that or you claiming that you a Maccabee. I'm about to cancel, everybody try to cancel ye. I ain't afraid to speak, this what I do. They riding to the core, I'm just judging them by their fruit. Cause they ain't suffering curses. If I was carnal, I promise I'd punch you in person. I know this an uncomfortable subject. They making millions off our culture and black people suffering from it. Yeah, they don't believe in Christ. They the Antichrist. Make a living off of niggas. They're a parasite. I ain't afraid to tell the truth. Niggas terrified. I'm about to go DEFCON 4. I ain't satisfied.
That is proof. That is absolute proof that they know we are the real Jews. That's absolute proof. Now, he got the records. Go find me a white Jew on any archaeology in Egypt anywhere. You will never find a piece of archaeology with white people as slaves in Egypt. So don't tell me that they were slaves and it's their identity, and they know it. And I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews. They are not. The Lord knows the blasphemy of you so-called white people that say you are Jews and you are not Jews. You are not the people of the law. You are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people are living in the ghettos of America. God's chosen people are in poverty and depression in the streets of America. God. Christ's return, that will not happen ever again. You know what I'm saying? We will not be in captivity ever again. But coming in 4th of July, right? 4th of July is tomorrow, right? And all my people are going to be celebrating 4th of July because it's the American thing to do. And we're not saying that the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, right? That some of us are not American citizens because we all have American citizenship. You know what I mean? But nationality-wise, right, we are from the nation of Israel. You dig what I'm saying? We are from the nation of Israel. That is our bloodline. That is our family of the earth. You know what I mean? The Chinese people come here and they don't have to conform to American society. They can still keep their culture as being Chinese people. You dig what I'm saying? That's why they eat bat, rat, whatever they want to eat. Eel sauce, oyster sauce, all that. You know what I'm saying? So, black people and Native American people, we have a culture of our own also. And that is the culture of the Bible, of what the Lord said to keep. Hey, Caviar, put one of those fans right there where the AC is, so the AC can blow over here. Baba Sharp. Is it not? Oh, I feel it. I feel it. Yeah. Ooh wee. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. But today is ISUPK San Antonio history class, and we are about to get into the history of 4th of July. You know what I mean? I don't know the 4th of July. Like Hispanic people and American people want to celebrate 4th of July tomorrow. And when 4th of July happened, we were slaves. We were in captivity. You know what I mean? We was in captivity. Like, and I know everybody wants to be free then, but that Constitution was not written for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Just think about even what was it called? Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation, when they set the slaves free, we still wasn't free. We're gonna get into that today. Caviar, give me. I just sent you a what's the name? Give me the first one. Yep, the documents of the Declaration of Independence. Let's read the Declaration of Independence and see what
see the lies that come with that. You know what I mean? Because, and it's not really a lie, because just like the Bible says, all men, right? Or everybody, everyone who believe on him, it's not talking about everyone. You know what I mean? You understand that? It's not talking about everyone. It's talking about everyone out of the nation of Israel. So when these men are writing this Declaration of Independence, right? They're not writing it to all men of every nationality. They're writing it of all men of their people. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and get into it.
Declaration of Independence, a transcription in Congress, July 4th, 1776. Is it unanimous?
I'm looking for it. You ain't got to read that. Just in Congress, July 4th, 1776.
I'm reading the unanimous declaration of the 13th United States of America.
Oh, yeah.
So the unanimous declaration of the 13th United States of America.
All right. Why does it say 13?
13?
Yeah, why does it say 13? Unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. You don't know? All right, that's not a bad answer. That's a good answer. It says 13 because the first settlers here in America, the 13 colonies. There were 13 colonies, 13 provinces that was here in America. You know what I mean? So it was 13 separate cities, separate states. You know what I mean? And they united. That's why it says 13. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Oh, all right. As long as it makes sense, Captain. That's what the red, white, and blue. The red and white stripes on the flag. They have that. They have those there because for the 13 colonies. Those 13 pilgrimage colonies. Go ahead.
When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle.
Ooh wee. So what they're saying, you good? So what they're saying here is that they were together. I got water. Yeah, I got my big jug of water. You know what I'm talking about? I drink three or four of those a day, bro. You know what I mean? So what they're saying is about the 13 colonies, right? They were once part of a bigger empire, but then they separated themselves from that empire so they can have a self-sustainable economy. Does that make sense? But they said God. Read that last part again. They dissolved their political bands with who? With the king, with the queen of England, right? And it says, which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth. So they separated themselves from the queen to be a separate power from the queen, to be a power of their own right here on the earth. You think what I'm saying? Go ahead.
The separate and equal station to which the laws of
Wait. It said what?
The separate and equal station.
Wait a minute. I thought God made everybody live in one big melting pot.
The separate and equal station.
But see, the oppressors know something. That for them to be free from the Queen of England, right, and to have their own power, they had to be separate from somebody. You dig what I'm saying? How come black people don't understand and Hispanic people don't understand that to be free and to have their own power, we have to be separate from somebody? You dig what I'm saying? Can I ask you a question? Is 4th of July celebrated all over the earth? No, it's only celebrated right here in America because it's an American holiday, right? Only for America. That was a black person holiday, only for black people. And Hispanic people, only for our nation. We don't have nothing because everything that we have comes from the oppressor. Of course, we have a lot in the ISUPK. We have a lot from the Lord to keep us separate from everybody else. That's why we call that Bible is our Declaration of Independence from everybody else, but we got to have our own God, our own power. You know what I mean? Our power is not for everybody. Our power is not like everybody else's power. We have our own power in the Lord. Make sense? You know what I mean? We don't have to. We can go to war, but we don't have to go to war for power. But we have our own power. Need be the Lord to destroy all of our enemies like that. You dig what I'm saying? The Lord be like saying, "Oh, what happened? You know what I'm talking about? Michael, Gabriel, do your thing." You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Come concert, woo. Next thing you know, there's tornadoes and you know what I mean? Nuclear bombs going off and hurricanes and everything is getting destroyed. Lightning bolts and before you know it. Keep reading. Let's keep reading.
To which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them.
Look, it says the law of nature. You wonder why it says the law of nature? Because you know how lions, tigers, jaguars, cheetahs are all cats, but they don't all hang together. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's a law of nature to be separate and to be with your own. You ever seen a pride of lions? Right? You ever seen a pride of lions? I don't even like using that word pride. But you ever seen? But that's what they're called. A group of lions is called a pride of lions. No, I'm talking about like on. I ain't never seen a lions either. They're like, if I am, I'm going the other way. But like on Animal Planet or something like that. You ever seen a pride of lions, right? Have you ever seen them? Have you ever seen a pride of lions and a cheetah in the middle of them, just chilling? Like, yeah, we together. No, you have never seen that because that's against nature. That's against nature. So what do you think humans are supposed to do? Humans supposed to be all together, or they're supposed to be with their family? They're all those lions, tigers, jaguars, cheetahs, leopards. They're all felines. They're all cats, but they don't hang together. We're all human. We don't have to hang together. We don't have to be in one big melting pot. You dig what I'm saying?
Even the animals are smarter than
Uh-huh. The animals know better. The animals know better. But I mean, hell, they knew that in every nation tries to do that. Tries to bring us all together. Every nation tries to do that. They've been trying to do that since the Tower of Babel. It's just not supposed to be that way. If it was supposed to be that way, the Lord would have been like, all right, cool, in the Tower of Babel. But he did it. He sent the angels down here to confuse the people with language. You know what I mean? If he wanted everybody to speak the same language and to be all on the same page, he would have had it like that. He would have at the Tower of Babel, he would have been like, cool, hey, no sweat. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like that. So this big melting pot that we have here in America is against God. And that's basically what they're saying. That's why I said a separate and equal nation to which the laws of nature and the laws of God entitled them. They said God entitled them to be separate from the Queen of England. And they keep reading. That's basically what they're saying. Go ahead.
A dissent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
The separation.
Separation.
Right. It just cause themselves to the separation. They declare and cause themselves to impel them to be separate. You know what I mean? That's as the opinion of mankind. Mankind requires them to be separate from the Queen of England. Go ahead. Now they're going to get into what's written on the Declaration of Independence.
Okay. We hold these truths to be self-evident.
Right.
That all men are created equal.
That what?
That all men are created equal.
Stop. When that was wrote, right? Where was our ancestors, Capiar? Was our ancestors treated as equal? Were they looked at as equal? They wasn't. They were not treated as equal. They were treated as scum. They were treated as 3/5 of a man. That's what they were treated like. Sending our children to get alligator bait. You know what I'm saying? They were not treated as equal. They were treated as less than dirt. They were treated less than animals. Let's keep reading. So wait. So if they were saying that all men were created equal, so what were they talking about? If they weren't talking about us and being made equal.
They were talking about them.
Right. So when they was talking about the separation, I was talking about them also.
Oh, you talking about
No, when they was talking about the separation above. It was talking about them also. It wasn't talking about us being separated from them. It was talking about them being separated from them, or them being separated from us. But they want us to cleave on to them. They need us to cleave on to them. Because if we don't cleave on to them, who's going to work at their fast food restaurants? Who's going to climb on those scaffolds and build those big buildings? Right? Who's going to build the houses? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to drive the trucks? Who's going to do the lowly work? Who's going to be the mechanics? Who's going to be the lowly people that do the everyday jobs? Sure as hell not going to be them. You understand? Go ahead.
But they are endued by their Creator with certain
Endowed
by their Creator with certain
unalienable
rights.
Ooh, unalienable rights. That's a deep one. Hey Siri. I mean not Siri, what's his name? Okay, Google, whatever you are.
The mic's off.
Okay, Google. Bear with us, guys. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Oh man, Google tripping. Yeah, okay, Google tripping. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Google.
Good evening. How can I help?
What are unalienable rights? Okay, Google. What are unalienable rights? Okay, Google, give me the definition of unalienable rights.
According to ushistory.org, inalienable or unalienable refers to that which cannot be given away or taken away.
Okay, so unalienable rights. Here, oh, there it is. Yeah, so the rights that can't be taken or given away. Right? Give me some unalienable rights, Caviar.
Some unalienable rights?
Yeah. Because they call our brothers and sisters illegal aliens, right? So what are some unalienable rights that can't be given or taken away?
That can be given, or that can be given?
That can't be given or taken away. There's rights that can't be given or taken away.
You being able to sit on the chair?
Keep reading.
That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit
The
of
mic's back
happiness.
on.
Shut up. People say it one time.
Liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
No. Right, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
These are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are unalienable rights, right? How do we get life here in the ISUPK, Caviar?
How do we get life?
Yeah.
By keeping the lifetime commandments.
How do we get freedom?
By keeping the lifetime.
Or how do we get liberty?
Liberty.
Okay, Google. Give me the definition of liberty.
Liberty has three different meanings. Starting with the most common one, liberty can be used as a noun to mean the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views, similarly to independence and freedom. Is that the meaning you were looking for?
Yes, Google. Thank you very much.
No worries. I'm here to help.
By keeping the lifetime commandments.
Right. You get freedom. You get freedom from oppression. You know what I'm talking about? And the way you want to live your life. You dig what I'm saying? That's something that we do not have here in America, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We do not have life, liberty, nor the pursuit of happiness. We can try to be happy. We can try to go get things that everybody else got. But what happens?
You said we could try to get liberty?
Yeah.
We could try to live a different life?
Yeah, no, like we can try to go find the pursuit of happiness. You know what I mean? But what is America say the pursuit of happiness is?
What is the pursuit of happiness?
Mm-hmm. What do they say if you have this thing that you'll be happy?
Money?
That's what they say the pursuit of happiness is. You got money, you have the pursuit, you have happiness. Right? If you have money, you have happiness. So our people spend a lifetime trying to get money, and then they get money and they're still not happy.
All right, that just seems like it's depression trying to get money.
It is depression trying to get money. You see, what do we do here in the ISUPK?
We do your life, okay?
Do we worry about money?
Wow.
You know, we try to get money to pay our bills, but do we worry about money for like trying to be like the rich? No, because we know that that's not happiness. When do we really truly feel happy?
When we're hanging with each other?
That when we find the kingdom of heaven. That's it. No. But when we hanging with each other, what is that? What do we feel? The kingdom of heaven. Passover feels like the kingdom of heaven. Feast days feel like the kingdom of heaven. Because we're not worried about oppression then. We're worried about serving our God. What's up?
Oh, like you said that camp, actually. I remember when you said that camp. You like, it feels like the kingdom of heaven now when you do that camp.
Yeah. We with all our brothers. We ain't worried about nothing. but nothing but serving God, our God. Not a God that don't look like us, not a God that's not for us. We're working about serving our God. You do what I'm saying? I'm serving our God. Hey, we serve our God. Hey, we gonna get the kingdom of heaven. Best believe it. Best believe it. You see how many people stopped? You see how many people walking by all about honking their horn? And yeah. They were happy to see us. Like, man, we ain't seen black. We ain't seen something that's for Black and Hispanic and Native American people ever out here. And they ride by and they finally see something that's for them. Okay, that's for us. You know, you got some of your people that just riding by lost in the sauce. They don't really care about what's going on, and you know what I mean? They don't care about what's going on. They just gang members and drug addicts, and they high off whatever they high off of. You dig what I'm saying? But you got our people that know we got a problem and we need to come together. We need to fix it. They was coming by. They were coming by pulling up. You know what I'm saying? They was pulling over on the sidewalk. Like, let me what they talking about. You dig what I'm saying? Let's keep reading.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men,
Deriving
their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Right. So they said that for these rights, they have appointed men to give you these rights. Right? They have appointed men to give you these rights, and they have a consent of the government. You know what I mean? So they have consent from the government to kill Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Give me that second. Yeah, give me the Boston Tea Party. I think that's what it is.
The Boston Tea Party.
Right. This right here was the final straw for. This was the final straw for the Americans to go and create a revolution against the Queen of England. Right? It was just over tea and coffee, right? And their taxation on it. That's what they say it was about. But it was also really about the Americans paying the Queen of England back because there was a war. There was a war called the Indian and the French and Indian War, where the French and the Indians teamed up against the colonies, right? They went to war against the colonies, and the colonists had to call back to Britain to get help. So the Britain came and helped them defeat the French and the Indians, right? So then the English turned around and tried to impose a tax on the colonists for that help. You know what I mean? You got to pay this, got to pay that. So they increased the taxes of their tea and their coffee. I know it don't seem like much, but back then, tea, coffee, water, they didn't have Kool-Aid, Gatorade, they didn't have all these different things. All they had was water, tea, and coffee, and alcohol. You know what I mean? So what they're drinking every day is tea and coffee, water, and alcohol. I don't know if it's unhealthy or not. Well, probably the coffee, but the coffee probably not unhealthy either. But they tax those things right there. You know what I mean? And because they were getting it from Britain, you know what I mean? But they was able to make tea and coffee over here. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why they poured it in the Boston River. They poured the tea and the coffee in the Boston River because they were like, we don't need your tea and coffee. So they sacked the shit that was bringing it and poured all their tea and coffee in the river. Let's read it. Let's read on the Boston Tea Party. Huh?
The Boston Tea Party was a political protest that occurred on December 16, 1773, at Griffin's Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts. American colonists, frustrated and angry at Britain for imposing taxation without representation.
Stop. What does that mean? Mm-hmm.
I've heard about that too. It's crazy. They have a whole song on that.
What was up? Oh, Disney Plus. Disney Plus, they have Schoolhouse Rock. That was my joint when I was growing up. I'm a bill, only a bill. You know what they're talking about, like you know how they sign new bills into law. He was on the steps of the Congress. I'm a bill. I'm only a bill. That's my joint, boy. Just think about it. It says it right there. Taxation without representation.
Yeah, no representation of that.
Yep. The Queen of England was just putting taxations on them, but they didn't have no representation to talk to the Queen of England. So they were just signing things in the taxation, right, about taxes to be imposed on the Americans, but they didn't have nobody was being able to talk for the Americans. That's why now when they want to tax a new tax bracket or up the tax bracket on something, they have the House of Representatives, they have the Senate, they have these different things in play to talk for us. Yeah.
I think Joe Biden said he was going to start taxing the rich.
Care about what Joe Biden do? He needs to go ahead and do a pedophile. You know what I mean? One was a rapist, and now the new one is a child molester. But Donald Trump, what did he say? What Donald Trump say? Grab him by the box. If any regular man grabbed a woman by the box, he'd be what? In prison. Go ahead.
342 chests of tea imported by the British East India Company into the harbor. The event was the first major act of defiance to British rule over the colonists. It showed Great Britain that Americans wouldn't take taxation and tyranny sitting down. And, rallied American patriots across the 13 colonies to fight for independence.
Ooh wee! They have a whole video there for you.
You want to play?
I don't.
No?
Play it. Go ahead and play it.
On the cold winter night of December 16, 1773, a band of American colonists approached 3 British ships in Boston Harbor. The men are disguised as Indians. They have a mission: destroy the tea on board each ship to protest yet another British tax on the colonies. The Boston Tea Party, as it comes to be known, is rooted in growing friction between the colonies and the British Crown over Parliament's right to levy taxes. For the past 13 years, Britain has taxed a number of items used in the colonies, everything from sugar to playing cards, each time the colonists protested. In 1773, Parliament passed the Tea Act. This required the colonists to purchase only British teas. Though it was actually cheaper than other teas, it was taxed, and to many colonists, that was intolerable. In Boston, the colonists demanded the tea ships return to Britain. The British refused, so the colonists took matters into their own hands.
They were disguised as Indians.
The interesting thing about the Tea Party is we think it's just like a wild sort of riot or mob and that there's mass confusion. And actually, the colonists were really specifically interested in making a point about tea to the British. So they didn't storm and destroy the ship. They actually didn't damage this ship at all. They just went for the tea. They didn't even break the lock to the hatch. They just wanted to make a point that the tax was bad, and they were going to show that by just destroying the tea.
They were taxing everything to get their money
British
back.
were outraged. They closed Boston Harbor to trade and tried to assert even more control over Massachusetts. The colonists resisted, united in a growing defiance against England. 16 months after the Boston Tea Party in 1775, the American Revolution begins.
Oh, it's on here.
Okay. You see the listening?
Just wanted to make a point that the tax was bad and show that by just destroying it.
Huh? Yeah. Let's keep reading. Because what they wanted to do, they just wanted to make a point. How would they want to do? They wanted to make a point that your taxation without representation is no good here. Do something. What do you think? What do you think the British did? At this time, in 1776, right? In the 1700s and 1800s, the British Empire was the strongest empire on the planet. They had the strongest military, the strongest navy. Because you know the Great Britain is an island, so they have the strongest. They have the strongest navy and one of the strongest military on the planet at that time. General Cornwallis and all that. You know what I mean? They were one of the strongest militaries on the planet. Huh? Yeah. So for a ragtag, a group of colonists to say no, we ain't taking your taxation without representation was a big thing. You know what I mean? They're just like now if we stand up and say no, we ain't taking your Christmas, your Easter, your Thanksgiving, and we boycott all of those things and we bring our money together. You know what I mean? It'll be big. One of the biggest protests and things going on in the world. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, in the 1760s, Britain was deep in debt. So British Parliament imposed a series of taxes on American colonists to help pay those debts.
Go ahead.
The Stamp Act
Uh-huh.
of 1765 taxed colonists on virtually every piece of printed paper they used. From playing cards and business license to newspapers and legal documents. The Townshend Act of 1767 went a step further, taxing essentials such as paint, paper, glass, lead, and tea.
Go ahead. They was taxing everything.
The British government felt the taxes were fair since much of its debt was earned fighting wars on the colonists' behalf. The colonists, however, disagreed. They were furious at being taxed without having any representation in Parliament, and felt it was wrong for Britain to impose taxes on them to gain revenue. Boston Massacre enrages colonists.
Right. You ever heard of Boston Massacre? Right. Who? No. No, the redcoats.
Oh, they started killing the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Let's go ahead and read about it.
On March 5th, 1770, a street brawl happened in Boston between American colonists and British soldiers, later known as the Boston Massacre. The fight began after an unruly group of colonists, frustrated with the presence of British soldiers in their streets, flung snowballs, ice and oyster shells at a British
Sentinel. Yeah.
sentinel guard guarding the Boston Customs House. Reinforcements arrived and opened fire on the mob, killing 5 colonists and wounded 6. The Boston Massacre and its fallout further
Incited
the colonists' rage towards Britain.
All right, can I ask you a question? So they only killed 5 people. How many people died in the Wounded Knee massacre?
Wounded Knee Massacre? Really?
No, it was about just a couple thousand.
Oh,
And that's what Black Coyote. Remember they tried to come take the weapons from Black Coyote and his people that was on the reservations, and they said no, and they killed thousands of men, women, and children, and they called that a battle at Wounded Knee. Meanwhile, these British soldiers killed 5 colonists, right? And they called it a massacre. What about Trail of Tears?
You said that's a battle?
They just say it's a Trail of Tears. They didn't say nothing about a battle. They didn't say nothing about them killing us on the way to Oklahoma from Florida and from the eastern bloc states, right? And then also, what about what was it called? Black Wall Street, when they dropped bombs out of helicopters or in planes, not bombs, but grenades out of helicopters and planes on our little city that we had in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You dig? They didn't call it no massacre, but these five white people got killed, and they call it a massacre.
Oh, so you know how like the Jew or the fake Jews, people like what happened to us was far more worse than what you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they only had one thing going on, but we had all these other events. Like, yeah, 'cause they weren't guided by horses. They weren't spread apart by horses or fed the alligators.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? How many people they say died in the Holocaust? They say 6 million died in the Holocaust. It wasn't. I don't believe it was that many, but let's say we give them 6 million. What about the 99 million black people that died on the Middle Passage from Africa to here? What about the 200 million native Southern South Americans, the Hispanic tribes? What about the 77 million Native Americans? It's still way more than those 6 million. But the reason why they want you know about the Holocaust, but you don't know about our people, is because of who tells the story.
They tell us stories. You learn about the Holocaust, about Jews,
and everything, but you don't learn nothing about slavery. Oh snap! Right. You don't know nothing about slavery. You don't know nothing about the Trail of Tears. Nothing about Battle of Wounded Knee. You don't even hear about what happened with the Native Americans. You don't hear nothing about what happened with the Hispanic tribes. Nothing. To the point that you don't even know that the native Hispanic tribes, right, like the Arawak Indians, right, they started they went into slavery on slave ships first. We don't even know that because they're too busy talking about their people and what their people went through. Which is it's a terrible thing. Anybody getting killed in mass, you know what I mean? It's anybody getting killed. Period is a terrible thing. What Hitler did to those Jewish people, so-called Jewish people, is a terrible thing. It's terrible. I used to see pictures of them, and they were skinny as I don't know what, because they wasn't getting fed, and it's a terrible thing. But when you want to give them the plight and bring up what happened to them as it was so terrible, but then you don't want to bring up what happened to my people as it was terrible, that's what we have an injustice. That's what we have a problem in. You know what I mean? My people went through something that was terrible. At least the Jews still know that the Jewish people still know that they're Jewish. You do what I'm saying? They call us African, and then they'll be like, "What tribe are we from?" I don't know what tribe you from. I don't know what tribe you from. Then how can I be African? I can fucking be. You know what I mean? At least the Jewish men know that he was Jewish. Hell, they didn't feed them kids to alligator bait. What's up, man?
I'm telling you, I said, the side that wins gets to rewrite history.
Yeah, that's why they call it history. His story. History. His story.
Oh, damn.
Because he gets to choose. He gets to choose what the story is. That's why they changed it from just the transatlantic. The transatlantic slavery. Man, I'm blanking right now. They changed it to the transatlantic migration from.
Oh, you're talking about transatlantic slave trade?
Yeah, the transatlantic slave trade to transatlantic migration. Because they get to choose, they get to tell the story. Because they get to tell the story. That's why in American history, right? They don't speak Spanish, but what they call the Hernan Cortez name. They call them conquistadors. They are conquerors. That's what conquistadors mean. Conquistadors mean conquerors because they conquered all of those Hispanic tribes. Hernan Cortez and Fernando Gustia, whatever those dudes' name is. Christopher Columbus homeboys.
Oh,
they went and conquered all of the southern, all of the South America and Central America. But they call them conquistadors. But here in America, we speak English, but they still call them conquistadors. Because I said conquistadors, you didn't know what conquistadors meant. You didn't want to say it is Spanish. But then they tell the Mexicans, right? Learn English. But they want to call the conquistadors conquistadors. So you just want to pick and choose, huh? You tell us to learn English, but then in Chinatown, they get to speak and write in Mandarin on their buildings. They have street signs in Mandarin. But you want to tell my people that when they come here to learn English. Italians speak Italian? Why the hell do my people have to speak English? My people can speak whatever the hell they want to speak. They want to speak in Munjubu, they can speak it. It'd be better if they speak Hebrew though. You did?
They like tell them, learn another slave language.
Yeah, basically.
Learn that one, learn this one.
Basically. Well, how about they just learn Hebrew and skip the whole oppressor if they want? You know what I mean? Get their own liberty that they want. Let's keep reading. Let's see what he's talking about.
What's your thing?
My magic is my wand. My magic is my bravery. My magic
I don't know why I get ads.
My very best. Crystal. My magic is knowledge. My peace. My spiritual. That's who I am. Whatever your magic, Houston's Magic Cauldron curates everything you need to elevate your spirit and make life magical. Journey to the Magic Cauldron and reveal your magic. My magic is
It's almost done.
Silversmith and political radical Paul Revere captures the moment British soldiers kill 5 colonists in the streets of Boston. His engraving will fuel the fires of revolution. This outrage spreads across the 13 colonies. March 5th, 1770. After 3 days of unrest, an angry mob roams the streets. Hundreds of men who lost their jobs and blame the British gather on King Street and face off against 8 redcoats with orders not to fire. What's about to happen will change America forever. A 17-year-old wigmaker's apprentice, Edward Garrick, lights the fuse. This is how wars start. Private Hugh Montgomery is hit with a club. An African-American, Crispus Attucks, dies instantly.
During the slaves. We were slaves.
When the smoke clears, 4 more are dead.
Unhappy Boston, see thy sons deplore, thy hallowed walks besmeared with guiltless gore, whilst faithless Preston and his savage bands, with murderous rancor, stretch their bloody hands.
The most formidable army in the world, firing on an unarmed crowd. An explosive image with a title that says it all. The Bloody Massacre.
Make it seem so sad, don't it? It just make it seem so sad. The Bloody Massacre. The Bloody Massacre. Because it was their people, huh? What about the massacre of at Wounded Knee? I got one more for you. Yeah. Did you get it? Yep.
The American Revolution. American Revolution, also called United States War of Independence or American Revolutionary War. 1775 to 1783. Insurrection by which 13 of Great Britain's North American colonies on political independence went on. Political independence and went on to form the United States of America. The war followed more than a decade of growing estrangement between the British Crown and a large and influential segment of its North American colonies.
Right. So all of the 13 colonies didn't even want to go to war with Britain. They was all talking about like, hell no, Britain is the strongest empire, got the strongest military on the planet. You know what I mean? You want to go to war with them, and They want to talk about. That's why people like Arnold Benedict, the traitor. Arnold Benedict, Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold was a traitor so he wasn't a traitor. He just sided with the Queen of England. He sided with the crown, right? You want to know who was traitors? All of the Americans. They were traitors to the British crown. They traded on the British crown, and they started their own thing. They traded on the British crown. They were going against their crown, their kingship, their queen. You know what I mean? That's like us going against Christ. They were traitors.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they didn't trade, that means British would be only all of the United States right now.
It's deep, right?
That little extra there costs America
To separate from the British crown, so they can have their own power to do their own thing. That's why when we talk about separation, we must separate to have our power with our God. There's no way we can be here in America and be American and be here in America, look for the American dream, and get the kingdom of heaven from our God. We have to side with our God rather than American than America. Right? We have to side with Christ, not side with Joe Biden, and not side with Donald Trump, not side with Jesse Jackson and what was his name? Joel Osteen. You know what I mean? We have to side with our king. And sometimes that means we got to go against our mama, go against our dad, go against our brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? To go for our king. You dig what I'm saying? It's just like the Civil War. With the Civil War, you have brothers, people in the same family going against each other because one was sided with the Union and one sided with the Confederate. It's just like that in the Revolution. You have both of them going against each other because one sided with the Queen and one sided with America. Make sense? Go ahead. But they don't make it seem like that. They make it seem like all of the colonists sided with America, except Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold was the only one. No, there was a lot of them. You know what I mean? That sided with the crown. Go ahead.
That was caused by British attempts to assert greater control over colonial affairs after having long adhered to a policy of solitary neglect. Until early in 1778, the conflict was a civil war within the British Empire.
It was a what?
A civil war within the British Empire.
So it was a civil war within the British Empire. They were going against each other. You know what I mean? Like the North and the South. Now this is the British Crown versus the British colonies. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
But afterward, it became an international war as France in 1778 and Spain in 1779 joined the colonies against Britain. Meanwhile, the Netherlands, which provided both official recognition of the United States and financial support for it, was engaged in its own war against Britain. From the beginning, sea power was vital in determining the course of the war, lending to British strategy a flexibility that helped compensate for the comparatively small numbers of troops sent to America and ultimately enabling the French to help bring about the final final British surrender
at Yorktown, right? So what they're saying is that the Americans was losing the war until French and the Spanish came to help the colonists, right? Because the British government didn't send that many troops over here, but they sent a lot of naval ships. You know what I mean? Because if you send troops without naval backup, you know what I mean? It basically just, what would you call it? It basically just warrants itself out. You dig what I'm saying? So you need the naval backing of the troops on land. You know what I mean? And it's even like that today. Because like today, where are all your jets and Tomahawk planes and stuff like that? Where are all those at? Yeah. No. No, where are all those Apache helicopters, those fighter jets, and all those? What are those launched from? Yeah.
The sea?
Yeah, they launched from the sea. They launched from on those battleships. It was the same thing.
Same thing back then?
Yes.
So all the people that was at war they were all on the battleships, and then like if they needed like recently
they were all on the battleships. So like if they needed help on land, what would they got the cannons, right? They let loose the cannons, doom, 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 from the ships. So now they don't have, but now they have cannons and big cannons now, but they don't. But now they use planes and helicopters and stuff. They'll launch off the pad of the ship and go to wherever it is and give air support.
It's a very smart strategy.
What is it?
Like having the ships, the airport of the ships, to build that ship is going down, and you can launch off.
It's hard to blow down a warship. They got submarines and all types of things that torpedo, all types of things on a warship. That a lot of like third world countries where we are, where America is now, they don't have those things. They don't have those things. They don't have those things. They don't have like warships and naval ships and stuff like that no more. They don't have those things, especially like now that they have, you know what I mean? They got like big battleships. I don't even know the weapons they have now on those battleships. You know what I mean? But it's like 100 caliber weapons that take out planes and jets and shit like that. You know what I mean? Things that go doo. They have missiles and things like that on the plane. I mean, not on the planes, on the boats, on the warships. You dig what I'm saying?
I think I've seen those in the movies. How they be like
Yeah.
planes and nothing.
Yeah, you see those. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they have their own defenses and things like that. It's a great military plane. Because they're on land and they get pinned down by, let's say they send in 10 Navy SEALs, right? All right, let's say they send in 10 Navy SEALs, right? And then they get pinned down by 100 Taliban. And then they just make the call, and now they send in the planes off to what's the name, and they light them up with green smoke. You know what I mean? Or they got the little laser things that they light them up with, so the planes can see the lasers, and they come through and tear them up. You see it on the movies all the time, because there's air support. You know what I mean? A lot of the Arab countries and things like that, third world countries, they don't have air support and things like that. That's why the battle with Russia and America would be so deadly, because they have like the same amount of military power. You do what I'm saying? They using the same military tactics. You know what I mean? That's why the French, when French closed all their American embassies, it was a big thing because the French are the oldest allies of America. They were allies of America before America was America.
Oh, yeah, they were.
You dig what I'm saying?
They're not allies anymore.
I don't know if they're allies or not, but I know they don't have no French embassies here anymore. You know what I mean? The French put out all their embassies, all their ambassadors, and they pulled them out, took them back to France. That's the first sign of war. You know what I mean? Let's keep reading. Is there more? Oh, they got a video. Just 20 minutes. Huh? Oh, you don't see the video?
Is it the explore highlights of the Revolutionary War?
No, I'll keep going. It says land campaigns to 1778. I think I'm gonna watch that later. Do you see where it says Americans fought the war on land with essentially two types of organization? No.
It says Americans fought the land.
Yeah, look. You see at the bottom? This is what we just snap. This is what we just read right here. Look. Now scroll up or scroll down.
Land campaigns?
Yeah. 1778. Now go below that. See, look. Right to it.
Oh yeah,
you don't have it? For real? Oh snap! How much you read it? Oh snap!
So it says Americans fought the war on land with essentially two types of organization: the Continental National Army and the state military.
Militia.
Militias.
You ever seen The Patriot with Mel Gibson? So remember they had the war that was fighting, and then Mel Gibson and his little ragtag band of soldiers or volunteers, they was fighting like they was fighting like a guerrilla warfare. When it was coming out of the water and shooting the supplies and that was coming to help the British. You don't remember they was taking all the supplies? You don't remember that?
This dude with the long hair, right?
Never mind. Keep reading. Well, they were fighting a conventional war and they was fighting a guerrilla warfare also. Guerrilla warfare is a hit and run tactic. A hit and run tactic, it's a hit and run tactic, and also like a sneak attack.
So that everybody like stays alive.
Yeah, that's what you do when you have a bigger army that you're fighting against. You like it's just like a boxer. When a boxer's fighting a bigger opponent, you don't stay in there and fight with him. You get in there, tap him a couple times to move around. Get in there, tap him a couple times to move around. You know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is get in there and mix with a bigger opponent because the bigger opponent hits harder.
So who's in there taking them out little by little?
Yeah, basically. You should watch The Patriot. Go ahead. It's called guerrilla warfare. That's what the Native Americans used against the Americans. The Indians used that against the Americans. It's like, especially the Creek Indians. They be walking through the woods and stuff like that, and Native Americans be up in the trees. You know what I mean? Watching them. You know what I mean? Once they get deep enough in the woods where they can't retreat and they pin down, then they'll come from all sides. Bow and arrows, shotguns, guns and everything, and then they'll get them for a couple minutes, and then they'll just run off into the woods where they can't go. You know what I mean? They just come hit them and leave. Come hit them and leave. Come hit them and leave. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, especially when you have a big army and they're used to 2 lines setting up. You know what I mean? They didn't, you know, they say aim, fire, shoot, or aim. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was like level. You know what I mean? Level, shoot. Like, because they couldn't aim. You know what I mean? Like you do now with weapons. They had to just level it up and everybody shooting at each other. It was different. So the guerrilla warfare, they was walking through the woods. You know what I mean? Going to go to battle, and they just come in, attack them real quick, and dip off.
So that's how the U.S. Army learned all that. What they know today.
Well, they probably learned it from the Bible. They learned it from the Bible.
They took our tactics, our war tactics.
Yeah. I think Abraham defeated the army of 3 kings, with 318 men. Guerrilla warfare. Go ahead.
The total number of the former provided by quotas from the states throughout the conflict was 2,301.
Never mind. Let's get to the scriptures.
Okay.
You ready? Oh, let me get Mark chapter 3, verse 24. My bad. I think you know this already. Go.
Is it Mark chapter 3, verse
24. Huh.
Mark. This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Right. That was if a kingdom be divided against itself. Remember, we just read about the crown, the British crown, and the British colonies. They went into civil war. They were divided against itself. You feel me? And that's why they couldn't stand. That's why they can't stand. They couldn't stand. You feel me? They were divided against itself. That's why nowadays America's on the way down now. Right? Because the Democrats and Republicans, they're divided against each other. You got the Pride boys, you got the Biden boys, they were divided against each other. Then they start attacking the Capitol building. You know what I mean? Violence always ensues when the kingdom is divided against each other. That's why here in the Isupk, the Christ kingdom cannot be divided. You dig what I'm saying? We cannot be divided. You know what I mean? We have to stand together. That's why it says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. Nation not desired. You dig what I'm saying? You understand that? All right. How else are we divided? Is America divided? Right, last month. That's the hint I'm gonna give you. Last month. What was last month? It was what? Do you remember how we was out there talking about it? And what was happening?
What you were talking about in San Antonio?
Yeah.
All these Christian churches coming up.
Nope. What was happening?
It was like a lot of fire going on.
Who gave us? Who was coming up and supporting the message?
Our oppressors.
Our oppressors. But who also pushed the Pride movement?
Our oppressors.
They're divided against each other. They're divided against each other. White people don't. I mean, our oppressors don't like that LGBTQ LMNOP mess, the alphabet mess. But there's some people in there that's pushing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like this.
Yes.
Well, you watched that class, right?
Yesterday? No. I was trying to find it. But I forgot he did it in Houston. I don't know why it didn't pop up, but I'm gonna go find it.
You missed the video.
What video?
What it was saying, like it was saying, like you're coming for the children and all that.
Who said that?
Like, the oppressor. They were talking about, like I think the lyrics was going like you did
coming for whose children?
For our children, like they're like we're coming for your children. We're gonna get them so that we can get you too, so that they can get you. That's what they're talking about. What?
They're gonna divide us.
Like
divide us from our children.
Well, no, like they're saying that they're gonna turn your children gay, like, so they can turn you gay. That's what they were talking about.
Oh, but there's no way they can do that. There's no way they can turn me gay because they turn my child gay. If he's homosexual, then all right, go over there. You know, you feel me? That's just weird. You ain't gonna turn me. I'm grown. I'm not impressionable.
They was coming for your children. That's what they were saying.
I believe it. I believe it. Just look at all the music and all the TV shows and everything that the kids watch. They're putting them in play to be that. You know what I mean? Like your dad probably never wore a pair of skinny jeans.
Actually.
Never mind. I ain't never wore a pair of skinny jeans. And if my son wear a pair of skinny jeans, I'm like, bruh, what you doing? And he's probably gonna fight me on wearing the skinny jeans. Because that's the style. You know. I want to wear the skinny jeans. Keep putting no money in your pockets. All right, go ahead, bro.
Actually, back before, like he started hitting the oppressor. Like, he didn't want to go skinny jeans. He was always work clothes and all that stuff. Get out there, it's like a weird. Like he actually wore put on tights. He was doing that as a joke though.
Players don't wear skinny jeans.
I'm just saying. Hold on.
How can you be a player in skinny jeans? How can you go talk to a female if she wearing skinny jeans and you wearing skinny jeans?
Like, you don't wear skinny jeans on the regular, like you wear like work chains. But like he was at home doing it as a joke, but like, still.
Ain't no skinny is a joke. Stupid. Go ahead.
It's a moment too. Verse 25?
Yeah.
Verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
Right. That house cannot stand. That's why here in the Israelite School University of Practical Knowledge, right? UPK, what do we teach about the house?
We teach about the house. We need to become one. We need to gather together.
About the house? About the household?
Oh, about the household?
Yeah. It said the kingdom, right? So that kingdom is talking about the nationality, our empire, right? So when it says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. What did the ISUPK teach about the house? About the household?
Number one? Are you talking about the household, like the children, like
the household?
The household, or like
your household.
Oh, that, you all have to be as one. Like you gotta be according to the Bible. Like you have to first it goes in order.
There we go. That's what I want.
From one household is Christ, or essentially the Most High, Christ, the man, and then the woman, and then the children.
Yeah.
We have an order system to keep in order so that we can't get it right.
There we go. There you go. Give that brother a hand. Give that brother a hand. That boy, yeah, you know what I'm talking Most High in Christ. Huh? Let's keep reading.
Verse 26. If Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end.
Right. If Satan rise up against himself, what did we just talk about?
Oh, first he rises up against himself.
Right. Pride month. How can Satan cast out Satan?
Rising up against himself.
Satan can't cast out Satan.
He
So it has to be violence. The only way you can cast out Satan by killing half of Satan. What's up?
So that means it's close to come to an end because things started riled up and they started like really.
Of course.
Go against each other.
That's why it's been how many mass shootings? More mass shootings in 2023 than there's been days. That means they're doing at least 2 a day, 3 a day, 4 a day. Mass shootings. There's more mass shootings there's been more mass shootings in 2023 than days. And everybody still thinking, and what the lady said, Camp, I'm saved. Okay. I'm thinking that, letting everybody out Christian church. Okay.
You're not saying to get to the car.
Yeah. You said what?
You're not saying to get to the car. You got someone chasing you.
You're not safe until you're not even safe in the car. You're not safe in the car. If somebody's let's say we're at a concert and somebody's shooting from the roof of a building, right? And we got to get to the car. What if they just start shooting from the roof of the building to where the cars are? With an AK-47, armor piercing is going in the car.
You're not safe to get away.
You're not safe when you get away.
When you get away?
No. Only place you're safe is where, Caviar?
Oh, here in Isupk.
Only time you're safe is when?
In Isupk.
Yeah, but when else?
Whenever you keep it in office,
and when Christ returns, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. And black people have the nerve to say they're saved. When they have the nerve to say they saved, when a couple weeks ago in Alabama, they was lynching niggas. Lynching brothers. A couple weeks ago, they was lynching brothers in Alabama. You can't be saved if they're lynching people. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. You can be lynched. You can't be, you're not saved. Give me Matthew chapter 12, verse 25.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25?
Yep. Everybody gonna be out here. Everybody gonna be out here celebrating 4th of July.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's look at Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Right. Every kingdom that's divided against itself is brought to desolation. Right. Now, let's talk about Ukraine and Russia. Remember, they were one kingdom. Then they divided. Now, Ukraine wants to go with NATO, right? They were under the impression that NATO had their back and they was gonna fight for them and everything. So it was with NATO. The Russia was like, nah, the Russia attacked Ukraine and where's NATO? We ain't going over there. So now Ukraine's stuck out by themselves. A kingdom divided against itself. Desolation. Keep going.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Right, shall not stand. It's not going to stand. It's not going to stand. The Edomite house is divided against itself. It has been like that. They've always been divided against itself. I'm not just talking about America now. I'm talking about America, Russia, Great Britain, Eastern Bloc countries in Europe. You know what I mean? Ukraine. Everybody's choose to picking a side. NATO and BRIC. Everybody's picking a side. They're not gonna stand. They're gonna have to conflict. Ouch. They're gonna have to battle each other. You feel me? And when those battles come, they're gonna have no choice but to drop nuclear bombs. What's up?
Like China's divided too, right? They're like divided. Like you got Chinese people who want to come to America and be American.
Well, Chinese people in Jamaica, and I thought China was on BRIC side, and Japan was on America's side.
Oh, China is on BRIC side.
Yeah, and Japan is on America's side. Japan is on NATO. So even Asians are divided. Even Asians are divided. Everybody has to pick a side in this war, so one side won't be so much stronger than the other. You dig what I'm saying? And it's been like that since Russia and America started beefing. We were talking about the Contras, the war on drugs. You know what I mean? The Sandinistas and the Contras, they were fighting against each other in Nicaragua. One side was backed by America, one side was backed by Russia. Same thing with the Taliban. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Taliban, Al Qaeda, and things like that. You feel me? When one terrorist group stands up against, like let's say, in Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian government is backed by America. Then Osama bin Laden comes, right? Somebody, either Russia or America, backs the Taliban. Yeah, in the 80s, Russia was going against the Taliban and America backed Osama bin Laden. They gave them weapons to fight the Russians, right, in Saudi Arabia. Then now, or Afghanistan, my bad. And then now, what's up? And then now, the Taliban went against America, right, with the flew planes into the Twin Towers. So now Russians started backing the Taliban against the Americans.
It sounds like the two biggest powers are trying to do it, destroy each other.
Yeah.
Like Russia and America, and every time.
But they're doing it in a deceitful way. You know what I mean? So let's say Russia, like with Gaddafi. Gaddafi had his own government in Libya and all that, right? He was sending people to college for free education, free healthcare, way better than America, right? And then but he wanted to make a gold denali for all of Africa. All of Africa wanted a gold denali. So if you want to buy oil from the Arabs or from the Africans or natural resources from them, you have to use gold denali and not American money. And what do you think America said? Hell no. They started a whole revolution in his country, backed the revolutionaries with weapons, right? And then he had to fight against his own people. Gaddafi had to fight against his own people because America had backed the revolutionaries in Libya. And then they killed this man on nationals on CNN TV. I remember watching it on CNN, them beating the life out of this brother. He's not a brother. Beating the life out of this man. You know what I mean? Shooting him in the head, hanging him up on, you know what I mean? Like real talk. Real talk, they were beating the life out of Gaddafi on national TV.
His own people?
His own people. Because they were going to get democracy. And then what happened was, after that, you ever seen 13 Hours in Benghazi?
Those dudes was in the forest and they was killing them all that?
Nah, that's Lone Survivor.
Oh, I seen the
13 Hours in Benghazi when the CIA was in Libya and they were like, we're not even supposed to be here. So the ambassador came from America to Libya, and then all the terrorists, I don't want to call them terrorists. Yeah, they started coming after him, and then the CIA agents had to go and help them out. They weren't supposed to be there. But that was before or after Gaddafi died. And then the guys that was on Gaddafi's side had to continue the fight against their own people. They started a civil war, basically.
That's what that movie was about?
Yeah.
You watch that?
Yeah, you do.
Because I watched that like before I came to the truth, so I didn't understand.
Yeah, they were Libyan nationalists against like the terrorist group that was on the American side and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they supposed to bring democracy to Libya, and what happened? Now Libya's a boo-boo world country. It's a boo-boo country. It ain't even worth what it was. It used to be a great country where they had free healthcare, they had free education where you can go to college, you can send your kids to college for free. You know what I mean? Like, and now it's just turned to ish. Because why? We let a terrorist in there. Who's the terrorist? I want you to say the right word. The devil. Okay, I'll take it.
So once these all went in there, he like destroyed everything up. Now those people are like, they're probably like thinking like, damn, we really messed up probably.
Yeah, they leave. They leave. Yeah, the Americans leave.
No, I'm talking about like other people, like the people who like went against their own people.
Yes. Yes. And now it leaves ISIS to come into play. Look up what ISIS is on your phone.
It's like Iraqi.
Yeah. Islam, Iraqi, Syrian. Yeah. It's not. I'm not gonna say a terrorist group. But it's a group, a government group. It's just like the Democrats and Republicans and the I want to say Libyans, Democrat, the Republicans, and the Liber. I forgot the name. Go ahead.
Hey, is ISIS joining with China and them?
Yeah, because that's what happened in Iraq and Syria, where they went over there and they destroyed the governments that was in Iraq and Syria with Saddam Hussein and I forgot the other dude's name in Syria, right? That's what they left behind. They were supposed to help with democracy and help the government and help all that come back to play. But then when they killed Saddam Hussein, they just left, and they left a vacuum pool of no leadership. So ISIS came in and became leadership. Who, ISIS? I mean, you could say that, but there was nothing really wrong with them at the beginning. George Bush just went over there and messed with Iraq because Saddam Hussein punked his daddy in Desert Storm. He punked the first George Bush in Desert Storm, and his son came back and was like, "Can I be real? Can I be really real, son?" You know, so he was like, "He tried to kill my father." You feel me? He tried to real talk in Desert Storm. He punked his daddy, and he was like, "Oh, okay, so you punked my daddy." If you don't remember, well, you probably too young in Desert. I was too young in Desert Storm. I wasn't even born, but You remember Jarhead? You remember that movie Jarhead? Never seen Jarhead. All right. Well, in Desert Storm there was in Desert Storm, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait for their oil, and he annexed their oil, and he had over their oil reservations. He had control over it. So then America was getting their oil from Kuwait. So America went over there in Desert Storm. It was like they was going to kill Saddam Hussein and kill the Iraqis that invaded Kuwait. So what Saddam Hussein do? Saddam Hussein set all the oil on fire. You feel me? The war didn't last nothing but like 60 days, but he set all the oil on fire. You know what I'm talking? You want the oil? Get it burned. Get it. You know what I'm talking? No. You really pumped his father. Just look up some of these things, bro, because this is what, recent history. This is recent history. Yeah, this is in the 80s. That's recent history compared to what we're talking about now. July 1776 and all. This is recent history. This is stuff that happened in the 80s. Yeah, that's just happening. I was born, 1990?
I might have learned about it in school, actually.
I don't think you learned about it in school. They stay away from that. They stay away from things like that in school, like Desert Storm and the war with Iraqis, because in the 80s, America was on the Iraqi side. They stay away from things like that. And then now they go against Iraq. They go against Arabs. So they stay away from stuff like that to where they could be looked at as the bad guy. You know what I mean? That's why all the Arabs have weapons. Because of America and Russia. They keep giving them weapons to fight against, you know what I mean?
So they use other countries
to fight their battles. Because Russia don't want America getting too powerful, and America don't want Russia getting too powerful. So when they make a power move, they have to make a counter power move. When they make a power move, they got to make a counter power move. That's why in Cuba right now they still have cars from the 50s because they had an embargo. In Cuba, the Russians put bombs in Cuba. I don't know if they put bombs in Cuba. They were going to put bombs in Cuba or something like that. And America was like, "That's too close to America. Don't do it." You know what I mean? And then so they put an embargo on Cuba to where nobody in the world would do trade with Cuba. No cars, no anything. No education, nothing. Same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine was going to be a part of NATO with America, and Russia was like, "Hell no, that's right on our borders. That's too close." And it was like, went along with it anyway. What Russia did, Russia was like, "Okay, well, is it? You know what I mean? Fuck with us, we'll show you what it really like." Dropping bombs. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah, they stopped. Yeah, it's called an embargo. They did that to Russia just recently. They put an embargo. Was it an embargo? Sanctions. They put the sanctions on. Yeah, NATO did. They put a sanction on them where nobody in NATO would do business with Russia. Remember we was talking about that? How they put sanctions on Russia? Caviar, bro. We had a whole class about it, bro.
Sanctions on Russia?
They put sanctions on Russia where they stopped them from trading with countries, with a lot of countries. And then they have to. There's only certain countries that do trade with Russia. Oil and things like that. Yeah, remember we was getting a lot of oil from Russia. Remember? You better start. Look, this is so politics, right? Politics is that's what that is. That's politics. You know what I mean? Sanctions and treaties and embargoes and things like that. That's politics. And politics is just war without guns. And war is politics with guns.
Didn't they also put like a bounty on the Putin's head or something like that?
Look, I don't know, bro.
They put a bounty on his head and all that.
I don't think they put a bounty on his head. They can't do that. They can't do that and make it public.
Not like a bounty or something like that.
They can't put a bounty on Putin's head and make it public. They can't do that.
Okay.
They can't do that. It'd be all out. It'd be all out war. Like you gonna put like.
Well, they like charged him or something like that.
They probably, I don't know. They probably can't try to charge him with war crimes, but what is his war crimes? So you know what I mean? It's war. You gonna charge me with war crimes? They will come get me. You know, the nigga be at Russia's border and getting bombed and getting boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Bullshit. You know what I mean? But they didn't put no price on his head or anything like that. They can't put prices on government officials' heads. Like,
not a price.
That's like, you know what I mean? $25 million for Joe Biden. You can't do that. You can't do that. You be like, what? You know what I mean? It'll be a big problem because he's the president. It'd be a big problem with Putin because he's the head of Russia. It'd be a big problem. Like, what? You said what?
I don't even like
Hey man, call the general dude. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Yeah, so I don't even know what they call him now. You feel me? I'm the chief of staff, but call the dude that's under me that with the army. Come here, bro. You know what I'm saying? So they put a price on my head. Like, okay, well, I feel it. You know what I mean? All those Russian, because I don't think there's a lot of Americans in Russia.
Didn't they have to evacuate?
I don't know, but do you know how many Russians are in America? Russian spies like what? I'm sorry, Russian spies like crazy. It's just like Arabs. You know what I mean? How many sleeper cells? You ever seen the movie Salt?
Salt?
No. How many sleeper cell people you think are here in America? So where they be like, all right, hey, now's the time. Oh, I like butter. Poof.
Probably a lot.
A lot. You know what I mean? How many Russian spies you think are in America? You know what I mean? From just a little kid, they're just trained to just come to America and just wait. And then when the time comes to actually do something. You know what I mean? They don't let Americans in Russia like that.
Americans, everybody. Americans like, yeah.
That melting pot is a downfall. It's a downfall.
Sure.
You got any more questions about it? You will once you start reading about some shit. You need to read about it. You need to start studying that recent history, ancient. You need to start studying the history of it. History has a lot to play about what's going on now. You know what I mean? It's been a problem ever since the Soviet Union started getting back together in 2012.
Oh yeah, the Soviet Union was a big problem.
Yeah, because it was just Russia, but the Soviet Union started getting back together. Magog, because it was just Gog. Then Magog started getting back together. Siberia and all those other Eastern Bloc countries, they started getting back together with Russia.
Oh, they started getting back together today?
Yeah, in 2012, they started getting back together. And Ukraine's like the final piece.
Ukraine's like the final piece?
Yeah, because Ukraine was like one of the biggest in the United Soviet Union. Ukraine was one of the biggest. What would you call it? Not exporters, but biggest, not supporters. Biggest resource to the Soviet Union. You know what I mean? So when the Ukrainians separated from Russia, became Ukraine, which was just recently, just like in the 80s. It wasn't 100 years ago or something. It was just in the 80s when the Soviet Union broke apart. You know what I mean? But they broke apart, and now the Soviet Union wants Ukraine to come back with them, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, because NATO's not helping them like that. So I mean, what else to do except join with BRIC or join with Soviet Union? Or you can keep getting your head bashed in. Hey, NATO is the United States. Them countries that's in NATO ain't got no army. Except like Britain, and I don't even know if France is in NATO still. Matter of fact, we're gonna look that up. Look that up. Look up the countries that are in BRIC and the countries that are in NATO. It's just, you remember when you was learning about World War II, the Axis powers and the Allies powers? World War II, they had the Axis powers and the Allied powers. The Axis powers was like Russia, Germany, Italy. You know what I mean? The Ottoman Turks. You remember? You remember that? And then the Allied powers was like America, Great Britain, France. You know what I mean? It's just the same thing. NATO and BRIC, Allied and NATO and BRIC, and then Allied and Axis. It's the same exact thing. It just now is under different names, different countries, because a lot of countries broke apart from those big empires, and now they have little countries, but they still need those superpowers. In NATO, in the countries in BRIC. I don't even know how to spell BRIC. Probably BRICC. You know what I'm talking about? They just about to spell it like.
That sounds like Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg.
Stop. Iceland, Canada. What's that? NATO? They don't have armies.
They don't have armies?
Iceland and Canada? No. Last time you heard Iceland going to war with somebody.
No.
Go ahead. Keep going.
No.
Albania?
Bulgaria?
Bulgaria? No.
Bulgaria.
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 Croatia?
Croatia. What the heck? CZECHIA?
Yeah.
Oh, not that one. This took another one too. This is CR. There's a lot.
Yeah, Croatia, Czechia, like Czechoslovakia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy. Oh, you didn't even say all of them. Albania, Belgium, Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, Czechia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Montenegro, whatever that is, Netherlands, North Macedonia. Yeah.
It said Americans often Libya elections and presented it as freedom to push new ideas like the freedom to do whatever you want.
And
Christianity.
Homosexuality.
It's really about freedom.
All right, Luxembourg, North Macedonia, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Turkey, United Kingdom, and United States. United Kingdom, United States are the two oldest NATO, and Denmark are the two oldest NATO countries. Because it's always with United Kingdom and United Kingdom and United States. Even though they broke apart from each other in July 4th, 1776, the United Kingdom, England, the British, and America, they broke apart from each other. They're still allies to each other. They're not going to stop that.
So they just became allies.
They just became allies. That's it.
Their own stuff.
Yeah, look up BRIC. BRICK. One of those. I don't know. It might be BRY. I don't know. I don't know how you spell BRIC. I like to look for the big countries, not the little countries like Slovakia. Yeah, like Slovakia ain't worth it. It's like you got what? 200,000 soldiers? They ain't even got planes. Something like that. You know what I mean? I ain't worried about that. We're worried about the big Jones. Come on. Did you find it or not? Let me see. Brazil, Russia, India, China is the acronym for the regional economies of Brazil, Russia, India, China, which in 2010 had included the letter S for South Africa. See, you guys says what countries are in BRICS 2023? What time is it? Okay, so Iran. Okay, so we have Brazil, Russia. We have Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, right? And then you have Iran, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Cuba, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Comoros, Gabon, Kazakhstan, Cape Town, Egypt, Argentina, Bangladesh, Guinea-Bissau, Indonesia. Yeah. Huh? I know. A lot of BRIC have armies because they were independent, and they're just coming together to go against NATO because NATO is, you dig what I'm saying? And those countries right there don't give a damn about peace treaties and shit like that. They want to fight. They like to fight. You know what I mean? If you think about South Africa and those Zulus, they like to fight. Iran don't like America, never liked America, never will like America. They've been wanting to destroy America. It's gonna be beef. It's gonna be World War III. And with that, I pass the class over to Priest and Officer Caviar. It's going to be war.
This is the Isupk security announcements. We are the Isupk, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Move for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves in the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is commandment. You find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Maestro means tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. What's up amount to the light. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the memorial of blowing of trumpets. First day of the 7th month, starting Friday, 15 September 2023. You can find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 through 25. And if anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirts, pants, head, and scarf. This will include the Isupk security office. With that, everybody imagine, please stand. Start with Papa Ramadan, you can turn face east. I'm going to read the Lord's Prayer in the Mashal Kudash. Abinau, Shabbat Shema, Kodash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malatuka, Taba'ah, Batazayaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ba'urataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashmai, Ladana, Nakam, Ka, Yawam, Waslakna, Kawatna, Kaslakna, Kawatina, Malala, Kaviaina, Badasai 1, Abal, Aishan, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wahala, Watapara, Malami,
Let's pray in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. Sorry, trying to face the front. Look at that.
Okay. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Whatever is Amajum Shabbat, Amajum, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatam. Yajum Mitzah. Return to face sisters to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Whatever is Amajum Shabbat, Amajum, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatah Hashem Yahushua. Yajum Mitzah. Class is missed.